Modern software development often forces teams into an immediate compromise. You want the velocity to deploy ideas instantly, but you hit a wall when those ideas require durable infrastructure to actually run. Right now, teams generally choose between two extremes. You can build from scratch using a complex, traditional tech stack, accepting development will take months. Or you can use a single-shot AI web generator that delivers a user interface in seconds, but collapses the moment you subject it to real production loads. This chart maps the current development landscape by plotting infrastructure complexity against development velocity. Xuda steps into this space, claiming to act as a unified orchestration engine, a bridge connecting prompt-based app generation with mission-critical deployment. Looking at the top left quadrant, we see traditional enterprise stacks. You secure the robust architecture required for complex routing and data handling, but you pay for it with slow delivery cycles. Down in the bottom right are basic AI generators. They provide working code instantly, but lack the underlying architecture to support secure, multi-layered databases or complex user permissions. The goal for modern engineering is to reach the top right, building highly complex systems at maximum velocity. We are going to evaluate Xuda's architecture to determine if it actually supports production in this zone. Evaluating this platform isn't about whether its AI can spit out a starting template. It is a calculation of return on investment, weighing Xuda's automated infrastructure against the specific architectural bottlenecks slowing down your organization. For development agencies and startup founders, the primary constraint on growth is the massive overhead required to build for multiple platforms simultaneously. Keeping web, iOS, and Android teams synchronized burns through capital. This comparison table illustrates the structural difference. Instead of managing 3 separate linear workflows, Xuda relies on a unified project architecture. Its AI co-builder generates the boilerplate and UI logic once, securing it in a single central project. Because the project model is unified, that single workflow pushes out to multiple native surfaces. The exact same data and components render into standard web apps, offline-capable progressive web apps, and native iOS and Android builds. This 4-fold increase in deployment reach comes with a clear trade-off. Agencies ship faster, but they must build within Xuda's Visual Studio environment instead of using their preferred local code editors. To balance out that platform alliance, Xuda integrated a marketplace directly into the ecosystem, giving developers a built-in mechanism to generate recurring revenue from their work. Dev shops can build turnkey applications, custom UI frameworks, and custom database plugins, and then license them directly to other Xuda users, with Stripe Connect automatically handling seller onboarding and payouts. By consolidating the codebase into one deployable project, Xuda functions as a clear margin multiplier for agencies and founders, provided they are willing to anchor their core business logic to this centralized platform. Enterprise IT leaders operate under a completely different mandate. Their objective is modernizing decades of technical debt without triggering a catastrophic system failure or interrupting daily operations. This decision tree outlines the available strategies for handling a legacy DOS or FoxPro system. Xuda approaches modernization as a parallel phase-out, which contrasts directly against high-risk rip-and-replace methods. The traditional path involves executing a total system cutover in a single motion. If the new database integration fails when the switch flips, operations stop completely. Xuda's alternative strategy keeps the legacy database running. You wrap those existing back-end services with APIs and library plugins, creating a secure communication layer that modern components can talk to safely. During the final phase, old back-end services and the new Xuda frontends run simultaneously. The IT team migrates workflows at their own pace until the old system is completely phased out. To meet the compliance demands of highly regulated sectors like healthcare or finance, the infrastructure supports localized data control, offering on-premises deployments, private VPS hosting, and role-based audit logs. Achieving this level of HIPAA-ready localized data isolation does require the financial commitment of moving up to Xuda's top-tier enterprise plan. For enterprise IT, Xuda actively de-risks software migration by separating user interface modernization from the database replacement, ensuring business continuity remains intact. Technical architects evaluate platforms based on the underlying infrastructure, focusing on how a system handles live, real-time data sync without dropping connections. This architectural diagram maps Xuda's built-in runtime. Rather than standard request-response loops, the system relies on WebSockets and message broker pipelines to push data to operational dashboards out of the box. This eliminates the operational and financial burden of standing up, configuring, and maintaining separate real-time infrastructure stacks like Firebase or custom AWS pipelines. Xuda uses Model Context Protocol, or MCP servers, to embed AI functionality directly into this live runtime, letting agents interact with the same exact infrastructure as your users. Because the agents are native to the environment, they can use retrieval-augmented generation over uploaded PDFs to execute context-aware workflows. You compose AI agents exactly the same way you compose standard API units, with no extra glue code required. This architecture automates the orchestration of AI deployment, but teams forfeit bare metal server control and must rely on Xuda's internal roadmap for new model provider integrations. Architects gain a highly resilient, pre-configured data pipeline built for high-availability workloads, sacrificing open-source modularity for guaranteed fault tolerance. Ultimately, Xuda is a mature infrastructure consolidation platform. It shifts a development team's focus away from managing code syntax and redirects it entirely toward executing business logic. This scorecard maps specific business profiles against the platform's constraints to clarify who should adopt this architecture. High-volume development agencies prioritizing multi-platform deployment and enterprise IT teams managing delicate legacy transitions are the absolute ideal fits for this ecosystem. Development teams that strictly mandate open-source frameworks to avoid lock-in, or operations that require absolute bare metal server customization should look elsewhere. Adopting this system requires you to accept a central compromise, trading the endless flexibility of a custom-stitched tech stack for the speed of a unified deployment engine. Review your current operations and identify your primary growth bottleneck. Determine if you are constrained by cross-platform scaling or technical debt, and evaluate the corresponding Xuda tier.